I'm Bill Corcoran Jr., and I'm your host for the On the Stacks podcast.
Today, I'm chatting with Eric Kuhn, owner of the Haberdashery and Luxe 900.
What's up, podcast episode 36. Welcome to the On the Stacks podcast. Eric, how are you?
Good. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing well. So you brought a couple cool dressed mannequins today, and I want to hear a little bit about these. I know there's a little significance to the David Bowie sweatshirt, but before we talk about that, I just want to learn a little bit more about you and your background. So kind of take me back to the beginning, before you opened the store. Give me a little on your background.
Okay, so I was going to Penn State, getting a bachelor's. I was accepted to the University of Pennsylvania for law school, and I actually went to a small men's boutique in Dunmore. I was going to help my grandmother get a sport coat for my grandfather, and I got started talking with the owner. He owned a store called Friedman's, and he liked me so much, he asked me to come work with him. He said he would work around my entire schedule while I was at Penn State. And I enjoyed it so much, I decided I wanted to try to do that for a living. I didn't know. I've always been obsessed with clothes. I didn't know you could do it for a living. So my family was supportive. They were upset that I wasn't going to Penn, but they supported me. They just said, we'll get a master's. So I started working with him, and I went to Marywood, and I worked with him until he closed, all the while getting a master's. I tried to buy his building. That didn't work, but he told me to come down here, and I met David Coral, saw the building, saw where my location is. I fell in love, and the rest is history.
So like at what point did you realize that you liked fashion so much? Like how did you get interested in it?
So you know how everyone hates going back to school?
Yes.
I loved it because it was back to school shopping since I was a child.
Okay.
It's such a sickness. Didn't want to play sports, didn't want to play video games. I wanted to be at the mall shopping for clothes. Just loved them.
Yeah,
I always did.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you took a liking to fashion as a young kid, and then you started working at it was called Friedman's.
Yes.
Right. And what did you learn there?
Everything. So I mean, I was 20 when I started at Friedman's, and there was, a lot about fashion. You read GQ, but you don't know the ins and outs of running a business. You don't know the ins and outs of GQ can tell you this is hot, but it doesn't mean it's hot for this area. Northeastern Pennsylvania is a little slow fashion-wise. Some of us are up to date, but generally what you see in New York City, you won't see for 3 years till here. So I was finding out that you couldn't buy, because you have to buy a year in advance all of your merchandise. So even though they tell you this is what's hot next year, you have to think, what does my customer like? I also learned you can't buy what you like. You can't print all of your business cards the way you like them, Bill. You have to think about what the people want them. So
right.
That was very important. And sizing, you have to know, I can't bring in 30 smalls. Most of my customers aren't small, So
you learned a lot from it's Phil, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so he closed, and then what happened?
I finished my master's and I looked for locations. And I didn't really want to be in Scranton. I didn't think they treated. There was two or three stores already, and you had no men's stores down here in Luzerne County. You had none at all. So I thought, why don't I just make a 30-minute drive every day and have zero competition?
So you're from Scranton?
Dixon City.
Okay.
But we have Suburban Casuals, Burlap. We have multiple stores. There's none here. So I just thought, make the drive, invest my time, and have no competition.
And so you said Phil kind of helped you discover the 900 building.
He knew David Coral because Phil's girlfriend lives in Kingston.
Okay.
So he would come from Dunmore here, spend time with her, and go to the building. And he told me, I'm young and hip, and my clothing choices are young and hip. He was a more dated store. I would tell him, let's sell jeans. And he's like, my customers aren't jeans. And I'm like, your customers are in their 80s. You need younger customers. And
yeah,
that didn't click with him. But yeah, the Rudder building was where I needed to be, and I love it.
Yeah. So you went to look at the building, and then what happened? Like, what made you decide, that this is the place? Like, how did it go when you came to visit?
So you know David Coral?
A little bit, yeah. I guess enough said, right?
Yeah, I walked around the building and there was a number to call and I called it and he answered. I didn't know it was him at the time. And he said,
And you didn't know him?
No idea.
Okay.
I just knew this building.
So you're calling this number.
Yeah. He says, meet me tomorrow at 10 a.m. by the elevator. And I said, okay. Hang up. He calls me back. He says, meet me at 10:12. 10 o'clock's too fucking boring and I don't wear a tie. And hung up.
Interesting.
And I met him that day and he actually came down at 10:12. I couldn't believe it.
Right on the dot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right off the elevator.
I love it.
He had multiple empty spaces, but he showed me one. He said, this is where you'll be. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, well, there's other space. This is where you'll be. Okay. And I loved the space. So it was pretty, he gave me a lease. My lawyer looked at it, said everything was fair. Actually said he was more than fair. Dave did a lot of things to help me out. He really likes young entrepreneurs. So I don't want to get too much into what he did for me, but he helps me out quite a bit.
That's great.
And being a young entrepreneur like you, it's you can't really put a price on the people that came before you helping you.
Yeah.
That's kind of that in the business relationships.
Yeah. Was there anyone else that kind of helped you?
Well, with Phil, I had already been to fashion weeks. I had already met these brands. So a lot of reps already knew me. I already had a reputation in the fashion industry when I would go to fashion week. So some things that should have been a little bit harder weren't. But yeah.
So what year was this?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year did you open the store?
That was the middle of 2013. So I think we were like right around the end of 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you opened the store, and the haberdashery was born.
Yep.
There's a little bit of a story behind the logo, right? What's the meaning behind the logo?
Well, there's a meaning behind the logo and actually the store name.
Okay. Tell me. 'Cause I honestly don't really know. So.
Oh, my first day at work at Friedman's, I walked in and Phil was behind the counter and he said, are you ready for the crazy life of a haberdasher? And it just stuck in my brain. I had always heard haberdasher in old British movies, but I never knew what it was really.
So you didn't even have the name for the store yet, and then it just came about? Is that?
Well, my first day working for Phil Friedman.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, he said that to me.
Okay.
So then when I was opening the store,
You're like, what am I going to name it?
no thought in my mind. I knew it was going to be the haberdashery. I
Interesting.
fucking loved that word, man. I loved it. I loved the haberdashery. I knew it could be the hab. I just loved all of it.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of like nostalgic, but also cool, new. It seems everything old is new again.
Mm-hmm.
Fashion, peak lapels, all this. So I knew the haberdashery would just work.
And how about the actual logo itself? Like, how did you come up with that?
Thomas Crown Affair. The Thomas Crown Affair. He gets that Magritte painting, the gentleman with the bowler cap. Now, you've never seen that movie?
I haven't. So, like, you're going to have to explain it a little bit to me.
Am I ruin part of it to you, though?
Why? Why would you ruin it?
There's a scene where
that's okay. That's right. Spoiler alert.
Right.
For everyone else listening. Yeah.
So there's a scene where he's robbing a painting and he has 500 men dress up as a gentleman in the bowler cap to rob a museum.
Okay.
And it's just so funny.
So it was part of a painting, right?
Yeah.
And then you just evolved it into...
I had an artist, a local artist in Scranton. I'm like, this is what I want. But he made it all black and I wanted a purple tie because purple is my favorite color. It's the color of royalty. And Hussein, his name is Hussein.
Who's that?
That's the guy that painted it.
Oh, the guy
never got his last name, but his name is Hussein. I met him at a Dezo in Scranton.
Okay. So you just randomly met this dude.
He was friends with someone that I knew.
And you just said, hey, could you paint me a logo? How did it?
I told him what I wanted. He loved the idea. And then I saw him like 2 weeks later and he had it painted.
How can we track him down?
I have no idea.
We got to reconnect. Well, you got to reconnect with him. But maybe somebody that listening will know Hussein.
Yeah.
And we'll reconnect with him.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's solved.
There we go.
Yeah. And so what else? I mean, you recently, a couple years ago, I don't know what year, but you opened the women's part of the store, which is
Luxe 900. That's it's a separate store. I have a silent partner in that. And that's doing pretty well too.
Nice. So So tell me a little bit about that business. So like what types of products do you offer?
So I have some of the same brands that I have in the Hab, but I have a lot of different brands too. And it was just husbands were coming and they loved it because they had a place. But women were saying, I wish I had a place. I wish I had a place. And I'm like, there's other women's stores here. And they're like, they don't have what I want. I want jeans. I want cool t-shirts. So I was just like, okay, you know, the old adage, give the people what they want. So I didn't really want to infringe on the haberdashery. I was supposed to get some other locations in the building, but that building has a long wait list. So we bounced back and forth with me and Dave and everything. And I ended up just subletting a small room of the Hab to Luxe with me and my silent partner.
Cool.
And and it's pretty fashion forward. It's but the women seem to like it.
What does that mean by fashion forward? For us, like people that don't know anything about fashion.
You won't find it at, Kohl's or Bon-Ton or Boscov's. This is stuff you'll see in Vogue and you'll see it on TV. This is the ladies that want to be noticed or just want to have quality products, jeans that they'll have in 20 years, things like that.
And how do you find these these fashion these brands? Like how do you learn about this? How do you decide what you're going? You said earlier that you have to decide a year in advance, like what you're bringing in, like inventory wise, which is like crazy to me. But so how do you decide this? Where do you find these brands?
Well, I go to Fashion Week every year, and all of the brands, everyone in this industry just swarms New York City. Brands are everywhere. They have fashion shows, and you can pick them. But also, let's say Jess came in and said, hey, Eric, I love this brand. No one has it. I'll make some phone calls and see if someone I know knows that brand. If a lady tells me there's a brand she likes that I don't have and she's a good customer, I'm going to assume some of her friends like that brand too, and I'm going to bring it in and try it. A gentleman in the building, Sam Falcone, his wife told me she loved DL denim. I now carry DL denim and I do very well with it. She tried on 7 For All Mankind that I carry. She said, I like these, I'll buy these, but I really like DL. 2 weeks I had DL denim in there. I'll do anything for my customers.
That's cool. So I mean, that kind of brings up, we have this mannequin that you brought and it's wearing the David Bowie
the Sojara.
Vintage.
Yeah.
So tell me the story. What is up with the David Bowie vintage tee?
So this
sweater?
brand is Sojara, and I absolutely love them. There's nothing that's off limits. She's made me a lot of custom stuff. These are all handmade in Florida, made in America, but all of the patches are vintage t-shirts. So this isn't like she just repopped, printed a t-shirt. She goes and finds old rock t-shirts that have a story that have been around since the 70s, cuts them up and then sews them onto new sweatshirts and then hand destroys each sweatshirt. No two are exactly alike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what does one of these cost?
Let's see. I'm going to say
Eric's looking at the tag.
$160.
$160.
Yeah, I almost overpriced it. I almost said $180. So.
Oh, you should have.
Yeah. They'll be delighted when they come in.
So like somebody may look at that and be like, yo, Eric, you're crazy. Like, why is that so expensive?
If they tell me you're crazy, I'll say, tell the other 30 ladies that bought one this season I'm crazy. But no, it's unique. It's one of a kind. No one else has it. And, honestly, like, I don't want to get political, but given the climate, this is made in America. That's at least 2 American jobs right there. So is it crazy to support, American-made products and American workers? I'd rather do that than save a little money and give the money to another country. And
before we started, like you told me a little bit about it, but I told you to save the story kind of for the podcast. But you mentioned like how much work and effort goes into finding these.
Well, these t-shirts could be from upwards of the 50s and 60s. So she has people all over the country, all over the world, looking for vintage t-shirts, going to Salvation Armies and flea markets and buying these t-shirts. Then she has to have them professionally cleaned. She has to have them cut. And then she has to have the sweatshirt done and then hand sewn onto the sweatshirt and then hand destroyed. Those are all,
That's so there's a lot of work. A lot of hands touch it.
Well, not in the days of COVID.
Right. Yes.
Right. They're all gloved hands.
Gloved and wearing masks.
Exactly.
Yes, of course.
But no two are exactly alike. So you have, one, that's a lot of jobs, you just support it. And 2, no one else is going to have it. You're not going to walk into a room and see someone else wearing that.
So it's like truly customized.
Yeah. Well, and I have on the rack like that, but if you call me and say, hey, I like this pink sweatshirt, but I don't like David Bowie, who do you like?
And then the search begins all around the world.
You've seen the emails. This lady wanted Elton John, and it took 3.5 weeks, but we tracked down an Elton John. Then she decided she didn't want pink, so we found a purple. It's still not done, but that lady's going to get exactly what she wants. There's a slight upcharge for that. She knew, she approved it, and we're going ahead. Now we've agreed on purple. We've agreed on Elton John. Now we're discussing this patch here. She doesn't want a lightning bolt. We're looking for piano keys or sunglasses to match Elton's persona.
Awesome.
Well, whatever she wants, we'll get you.
That's really cool. And you said all the patches are all vintage
And
just found from wherever in the world.
Anywhere.
That's crazy.
It's cool though, right?
Yeah, no, it is cool. It's like crazy and cool. And the fact that like it's somewhere right here in this area, like that you're able to do that.
Yeah. And it's funny because I have a very special relationship with this lady. I met her at Fashion Week, her first show. So she was a very successful woman, and her daughter was making these t-shirts herself. And she said all of her daughter's friends were buying them. She's like, let's start a company. And I was one of her first customers ever. So now she has sales reps. And I got an email last week, hey, I'm your sales rep. And I said, what happened to Debbie? I said, what do you mean? I said, I deal with Debbie. And I emailed Debbie. I said, who is this? She said, oh, don't worry about him. You're dealing with me. I said, okay.
That's funny. Is there a significance to the words dress for life?
Advertisers. But no, I mean, fashion is my life. I love dressing every single day. I mean, my gym clothes match. I have issues. And my customers, the people, I have a higher price point. I know that. I offer extra things, I do free tailoring on everything. So the people who dress, they're dressing for every day is their runway. Like we said, we know somebody your wife's friends with. Every day is Fashion Week for that gentleman.
Yeah.
And I love him because he just drips it. He just drips fashion and swag, and I love it. And that's what most of the people who shop in my store do. That's
what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are you wearing right now?
Right now, I'm wearing a Masiao shirt, which is, I admit, fairly obnoxious, but I love it. I'm wearing Psycho Bunny jeans and Johnston & Murphy double monk straps.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got the obnoxious shirt.
I love it.
I love it too.
He's wearing glasses.
Fits you.
They never wear glasses.
Interesting.
So no one ever looks like me, but this skeleton looks like me.
You almost have the same glasses.
Don't worry, I will.
They've already been ordered. They've already been ordered, right?
I have these in purple, just not black. Yeah.
Those glasses. Okay. So they're next on the list.
Right.
That's great. So if someone were to walk into your store, what is the experience like coming into your store?
They're treated like gold from the moment they walk in.
How so?
I mean, hello, Mr. Mrs. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I actually get yelled at for that quite a bit. No one wants to be ma'am or sir anymore. But
interesting.
Still do it because they like it. They tell you they don't, but they do.
Yeah.
They like being respected.
Yeah.
So show them respect, then get yelled at, and then call them whatever they tell you to call them. But I tell them, I ask them if they need help. Some people don't. A lot of my established customers know what they want, know right where to go. They're like, I'll let you know, Eric. I had a woman come in. She said her son had no fashion sense, but he wanted something. I looked at his size, looked at his build. I knew certain brands fit different ways. Certain body styles look better in one brand than another. I knew what brand to show them, what brand not to show them. I was very blunt, and they appreciate that. I said, you don't want to look at those. They're not going to flatter you. They're not going to look good. He was very nervous, but he was a young man trying to find his style. They were there for 2 hours. He got a ton of stuff, and he was absolutely thrilled. If you tell me what you want, what you don't want, I'll listen to you and I'll be able to help you because, I've done this for years and years.
Yeah. So how do you compete with big box stores and online retailers? I'm sure that's probably a question you get asked a lot.
Well, those people are there for a check. Every customer is an investment for me because I'm a repeat business store. So there's nothing I won't do. I I live in Dixon City. My store's in 40 Fort. I was past Waverly last night delivering clothes to the mailbox of somebody. I left it in the mailbox. They sent me the money digitally, and no one's going to do that. I have customers that I will leave bags of clothes at their home or office. They'll leave me what they didn't take with a check, and I'll bring it in. I know I can trust them, so that's never an issue. I deliver, whatever I need to do. I offer free whiskey. Like, you gave me a beer here.
I was going to say, yeah.
I've got whiskey, beer, wine at the store. You can have a good time. I'll even call you an Uber if I need to.
or if you have a couch, can someone sleep over? Or?
That's between them and David Coral. I'd let them do it.
Yeah. So what else? What are some other services you offer? What else do you do to kind of set yourself apart from the big name stores?
I have pick up and drop off dry cleaning. I have a cobbler. We can restole shoes, polish shoes, all that. Tuxedo rentals. I do full custom bespoke suits. I do full custom shirts. I do free tailoring on every purchase. And if I don't do it and you tell me I don't do it, I'll start doing it.
Yeah. Has there been any besides the jeans story, has there been another request from a customer of anything, big or small, that you just said, you know what, I'm just going to start doing this because this person asked? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, I brought in several brands at people's requests. I'm trying to think. Actually, a very good mutual friend of ours, and I'm not going to be afraid to name drop him right now.
Go ahead, yeah.
Dr. Grossman told me he liked AG jeans.
Okay.
So I went and got AG jeans. I got a small run. I did well with them.
And
he bought a pair.
He bought them?
Yes, he did. I feel like he didn't. I don't think he thought he had a choice.
No, not at that point.
He came in deer in the headlights. I said, Dr. Grossman, I have AG jeans. And he just, but his eyes lit up. No, he was thrilled.
Yeah.
So he has me call him whenever I get new stuff in from certain brands. I have a list. I have a list for several customers. When certain brand, certain size, I have to call them and tell them, hey, this box came in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very funny.
Yeah. So if one of your customers was sitting here right now and I asked them, about your store, what would you think that they would have to say about you or their experience at your store?
Well, I think they would love it. I've had customers handwrite me beautiful letters. A gentleman named Patrick shopped at my store, and within a few days, I had a beautiful handwritten letter thanking me and telling me what a great experience it was. To this day, a gentleman came in looking for shoes, talked with him, got to know him. He bought a pair of shoes, loved me. Him and his wife come in every single Saturday for the past 3 years. I dressed him head to toe for his wedding. He invited me to the after-wedding dinner. So I celebrated that day with him. Actually, after they got married, they came to the store and took pictures with me in my store. Then they went to their reception. Then they had me to dinner after the reception. You can't beat something like that. Another gentleman I dressed for a wedding, he sent me pictures from the wedding. I just dressed a gentleman now for his wedding, and he's in the process of sending me pictures from his honeymoon. And you can't beat that. You can't beat handwritten letters. I have a trunk that I keep in the store, all these handwritten letters, these thank yous, all of it, because I think that's really my success.
Is that what keeps you going?
Oh, I don't need anything to keep me going. I just love clothes. I walk in paradise every single. I'm very lucky that I love what I do.
But like you said, that's what you said kind of defines your success.
Yes, I don't think it's he sold this many shirts today. I think it's the people remember me, the people care, and who cares anymore?
Not a lot
really.
Of people. Yeah. No, seriously.
No one's going to Macy's saying thank you for my jeans or writing a letter to the, to the Kohl's sales staff.
Right, and they're not thanking really you for shopping there.
Mm-mm.
No. And, I think it's a testament to you, like you said, the couple that came and got their photos after their wedding. I mean, that's...
Oh, it's on Instagram. I adore that.
It sounds like you have some pretty loyal customers.
I don't have a ton of customers, but the customers I have keep coming back, and they know that I'll do anything and everything for them.
Is that why they come back?
I hope so. Maybe they just like my charm.
Yeah, maybe. Or your hair. I mean, by the way, like, is this new hairstyle? Is this new? I mean, you've been growing this out. Seems like for a while now.
So I used to have a ponytail, and then I cut it short, and then I got it mid growth. Then I cut it short. I can't stay the same. It's boring. It's going to a ponytail again.
Okay, I think this is a good look, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't even know if I ever knew you before this look that you have going on right now. Like, you know, I didn't know you ponytail, I don't think. And
you knew me with short hair, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so I've never seen anything other than short hair. And now you have this semi-long hair, I'll call it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool look, man. So what is your go-to outfit? I guess that's like a challenging question, huh?
Oh boy. I mean, I have custom suits, but I love jeans. I think what I'm wearing right now, jeans and a sports shirt with nice shoes, I can go anywhere. I can go to a nice restaurant. I can go to a business meeting, but I can also just like go for drinks with my friends. That's the most versatile outfit, I would say.
So, you know, who is an ideal customer for you? Like if somebody were listening right now, how would you explain the ideal shopper at your store?
They would just have to appreciate what I do for them. That's if there's something they want, I'll take care of them. Some people don't appreciate the extra effort. They see a number on a price tag, or they can't be bothered to be helped. I mean, some of my best customers know what they want, come in, pick it out, get it, because they don't need help. Some of my customers are desperate for help because they don't know what they want, and they'll listen to my advice, take it, leave it, whatever. It just, I like nice people. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with the jerks.
So the building you're in at 900 Rudder, I've been there a bunch of times. I know a lot of people listening, most people listening probably have also been there a bunch of times, but
yeah,
it seems like you guys have this like tight-knit community there in the building. Can you talk about that a little? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're all small business owners, and it's not like we're on a street where we're all like a little bit apart. Because when I was at Friedman's, there were other businesses on the street. None of them would talk to each other. Some of them hated it. It was just crazy. Phil would tell people to go to a jeweler that was 10 miles away instead of the one that was one storefront away. We all help each other out. You know where Rustique is.
Yep.
People come in, they're like, "Where's Rustique?" I'll close my door and hand walk them down to see Jamie. And Jamie will do the same for me. Like, we're all in this together. Everyone's, with COVID, we're in this together. We've been in this together way before COVID.
Before it was cool.
We're all teammates, right?
Yeah, before the saying.
We were the cool kids.
Yeah. So you guys really do. I mean, you guys have like a really tight-knit community there.
I walk in and I have to go past Rustique in the running store, and I say good morning to them every day. Bath time's right next to me. I say good morning to them. Connor and Natalie over at the canning house, I'm saying hi to them in the morning, usually getting my coffee or lunch there. And they'll like pop in and be like, "Hey, you having a good day?" Like, we're all just, it's like a loose-knit family there.
It's like, it's kind of fun to walk in the building.
Yeah, you can't have a bad day there.
Yeah.
You really can't. And if you are, someone's going to pick up on it. That's the funny thing.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I've had bad days, like girlfriend broke up with me or something.
Yeah.
"You okay? You don't seem okay." "Hey, Nikki." Like,
Yeah. So kind of speaking about, the community and, the business community and, over, at the 900 building and just in general in this area, what is your favorite thing about NEPA?
Oh, NEPA?
Mm-hmm. Just the area in general.
So I used to live here, and then I moved to Texas, and I
didn't know that.
Okay. But the change of seasons. I love the change of seasons. Fall's my favorite, but I tell you I want fall year round, but then it's would you ever appreciate fall if you had it year round? But I love the changing of the seasons. A lot of these people do enjoy it, and we have a funny area up here, and I just absolutely adore it. We have a lot of fashion forward people. We have a lot of people who don't care at all. But in the end, we're all in it together. We all work together. We all have fun together. And it's just a fun area. We never forget our roots. We never forget that we're a coal mining town. And I think that's important. Never forget your roots. And this is an area that does not forget that.
Yeah.
And I like how in Texas, there weren't a lot of cultures. It was just Texas culture. Pennsylvania, you still have like kibasi festivals at Polish things. You still have German things. You still have Italian festivals. And I love seeing all of it. It seems like you could be traveling Europe in any PA and not even realize it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, we all maintained our own culture, but still take in others. Like some places, a melting pot, everyone loses their culture. That hasn't happened here. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a really good way to put it. So what did you go to Texas for? Or when?
Oh, I moved there middle school. My mom moved me there, and then when I graduated high school, I moved back up here because I liked this area. So I moved up here to go to Penn State and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just want to come back to this area? And
there were some family things. My grandfather had cancer. And he was going through chemo and couldn't do things. So I moved here to help my grandmother, and I just stayed to go to college because they could use the help. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really didn't know. I mean, I had no idea.
Most people don't. I just, don't. You do what you do. That's all.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, and it's great that you came back to help your grandparents. And like you said, coming back to your roots here, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I like this area. I like this area a lot. I know a lot of people live here. I looked away. I know.
It's all good.
They get down on this area, and I don't understand it. I don't think there's any reason to be down on this area. I think it's an incredible place.
Why do you think people do that?
You know what? Maybe it's because they never left, so they don't appreciate what they have. I think we just discussed that a second ago.
Yeah.
If it was fall year round, I wouldn't appreciate it. Maybe if they went and lived in another state for a little while, they'd realize that they really do have something beautiful here.
Yeah. And the people and the food.
It's all beautiful. I mean, everything around here I love. But some people are just, it's this or it's that. It's like, I don't think Go somewhere else and come back and tell me how bad it is.
The grass isn't always green on the other side, is a cliche saying.
Well, they've never even looked at the other side. They just complain about this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think anywhere you go, if you grew up in another town, I mean, when you're in that other town, like that's the only place you've ever been, that's all you really know.
Yeah.
And no matter where, no matter what town you're in, I think the people that are there's always going to be those people that are like, oh, this area sucks. Well, okay, yeah, that's because you're there, and you don't appreciate what's there.
Yeah. Just take a trip.
Yeah.
Take a 3-hour drive, take 2 days at a hotel, and maybe you'll miss it.
Yeah, totally. So what else about the store, the Haberdashery or Luxe? How can the stores? You're obviously open. You were shut down obviously for a while, but you're back open now.
Yeah.
How can people learn more about the store? Stores, plural.
Well, I'm on 900 Rudder Avenue, 44, Pennsylvania. They can do Lux 900 or thehab900.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Do you want my phone number?
Hey, man, if you want to shout it out, you can say whatever you want. Go ahead.
570-763-5817. They can call. And I'm the fashion expert on PA Live every single Friday. So they could just tune in there with me and Miss Haley Bianco. I'm their premier fashion expert every Friday, 4 o'clock. So they can watch that and get some fashion advice from me if they want it.
Sweet. Really cool. But you're very active on social media.
Every single day.
You are.
Fashion's visual, so I need to post a picture of a different outfit every day, and my customers love it. I'm going to get a picture of you for today.
Hell yeah. Sweet. So, Eric, it was great learning a little bit more about you and about your business today. So I just want to thank you again for joining me on the Stacks podcast, the Haberdashery and Luxe 900. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Bill.
If you'd like to learn more about the On the Stacks podcast, be sure to search the hashtag On the Stacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on the Stacks.